My name is Maureen Folan. For those that don't know me, I'm a real estate broker and I run a team in Queens and Long Island. Last year, my team and I did $238 million in sales, and this year we're on track to do $250 million. And my team is here today, so just want to give them a shout out. Raise your hand if you actually work expireds. So I want everyone to look around and see how many people raise their hands. I'd say there's probably 60, 70 people in this room, maybe 7 or 8 people raise their hands, and that's your competition. So this is why I love expireds. You want to make a lot of money in real estate without spending a lot of money? Expireds are the way to go. So actually,
we're standing in front of 16011 29th Avenue here in Flushing. And this house behind me had been on the market for over 1 year with 2 different realtors. Could you imagine being on the market for over a year with no luck in selling? That is until the homeowner gave Maureen Folan Real Estate Group a call, and we had the home sold within 7 days for 99% of list price.
So me personally, I take about 120 to 130 listings a year. I am the #1 real estate agent all the way from Queens to Long Island for the last 7 years. And the reason I'm telling you that is not to brag or boast, it's to show you that expireds are still a big part of my business. Even all these years later, I've been in real estate for over 25 years, expireds are a big part of my business, even to this day, with all the houses that I sold and great track record, and it really should be a part of your business too. So why I started working expireds. When I started real estate back when Jesus was a baby, I didn't have much money, and I didn't have much money to spend on leads. So I needed business that was immediate, and I needed leads that were free, and I needed a paycheck sooner than later. It was the fastest, most straightforward way to get a paycheck. And as we know in this business, listings are at the top of the food chain. Everyone wants the listings, so if you get the listings, the market will follow. But what I got as a result from working with expireds was a great way to get a fast, successful track record, which is important, and I became a master at objection handling. Even to the point years later, even now, sometimes when I go on a listing presentation, I am like ready for their objections, and I'm very, not defensive, but able to handle their objections. And they're like, it's okay, Maureen, I'm signing with you today. You don't need to sell me on why I should work with you. So it just becomes like second nature. They are hard work, and that's why most people will not stick with them, and most people will fall off, because it is probably, working with expireds are the toughest clients, customers that you will come across. But if you're able to be consistent and have a strong mindset, you will be able to overcome them. So they're a great opportunity, especially today, because there's so many homes that failed to sell in the last 6 months after a roaring 2 years of real estate. All these homes are now expiring because the interest rates have gone up and they weren't able to get the prices or able to sell the way that they once were. So there's an abundance of expireds in the market these days. So I'm super happy, because for a while, there wasn't many expireds. So I had to find another lead source, but now that they're back, we're working them. They're immediate business. They are people who are raising their hand today that they want to sell their house. If they expired today, last week, if they got an offer that was acceptable, they would have accepted it. That is a motivated seller who wants to go into contract and find a buyer for their home and close the next few months. So there's no one better than that. When I first started real estate, I was relying a lot on my database. And the truth is that your database is unpredictable. Sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's not, but expireds, they are abundant. There's loads of expireds. Every single day there's new opportunities. And even now there's lots of past opportunities. People who expired in December, November, October, they've been waiting for the spring to come, so this is the time that they want to list. So there's so much opportunity. Since January alone, there has been 850 expireds in Queens. That does not include Nassau, that does not include Suffolk, but that is in Queens. Half of those people will relist. But you have to understand the seller's psychology. Understand an expired seller's psychology. A lot of people say I don't want to work with expireds because they're mean and they're grumpy and they get rejected. But you have to understand, they're upset. They believe in realtors. They understand the whole concept of realtor. They're willing to pay a commission. They hired someone to sell their house. They interviewed multiple agents to sell their house. They chose one. They trusted them enough to sell their home. Went through the whole process of listing, showings, open houses, appointments, only to realize that they picked the wrong agent. So it's embarrassing for them. Their neighbors are asking them, your house was on the market for 6 months, why didn't it sell? Their plans of going to Florida and being in Florida for the winter were totally shattered because their house didn't sell. So they are frustrated and they are angry and they're disappointed. So next time around, they're gonna be smarter on who they choose to work with. So sellers have, or expireds have 3 options when they're listing expireds. Number 1 is to relist with their current agent. Number 2 is to take the house off the market, or the 3rd option is to become a for sale by owner. Or list with you. That's what you want, right? But you have to go after them. So in order to get good at expireds, you have to role play and you have to know what to say and you have to practice. You have a couple of seconds to make that first impression when you're dealing with an expired. And remember, now that their house expired, they are getting hundreds of phone calls, people knocking on their doors, sending them mail, and now they're wondering where were all these agents when the house was listed, and now all these slimy realtors want to come in and try and take the commission because it's easy. But you have to know how to work with them and hear them out and have empathy because they've been through a lot for the last 6 months and they're disappointed. So if you want to receive a sample of my scripts of what I say to homeowners, and even to this day, guys, I am constantly role-playing. In my car, on the way to appointments, I play CDs, audiobooks, and replay scripts that I practice with my team just so I'm fresh and I know what I'm saying, because it's like learning a second language. Sometimes if you don't use it, you forget it. So I'm happy to share my scripts with you. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step process to make it very simple. Don't overthink it. This is not hard, but it's not easy, right? So the first thing is, this is what I do. I personally door knock. Some people like to call because they feel like they will reach a lot more people, but as one of the gentlemen said earlier on, that a lot of times people don't answer the phone. So I like to door knock. I feel like you go deeper when you meet people face to face. So what we do is I have my assistant print out the expireds at the end of every single month for the upcoming expireds in the month forward. I consistently target the same neighborhoods. And that's what you should do too. Don't go from here to there to everywhere because you will be all over the place. Just focus on a specific area. The most important thing is time block your calendar every working day to door knock and follow up. This is where most agents fail. My team and I, every morning from 9 to 11, we are door knocking. We are knocking on the same doors over and over again. We're knocking on new doors. We're following up with leads that we've gotten. And it's so important. This is probably the most important 2 to 3 hours of your business every day. It's probably the hardest as well, and most people avoid it. But if you're able to master this and stick with it consistently, you'll do well. So the evening before, you want to plan the houses that you're going to door knock. And you want to obviously stay in the same area, so you're not shooting all around Queens or all around Nassau. Have a list of 10 to 15 doors that you plan on door knocking. And also have an accountability partner. Have someone in your office, your team, even your spouse, just someone that you can report to at the end of your prospecting and say, hey, I did it, knocked on 20 doors, 3 people answered, 1 appointment, every single day. And that way you have someone to answer to and you feel guilty if you don't do it. So that's really important. Step number 7 is you want to talk to the neighbors. So sometimes the sellers are not home. Like sometimes the expired homeowner's not home, but you kind of look in the window and it does look like someone lives there. What I personally do is I've made the effort of going all the way over to that house. I'm going to get something out of it. So I will knock on the neighbors' doors and I'll introduce myself and I'll say, hi, my name is Maureen. I was trying to get a hold of your neighbor. Do you have any idea when they're home? The neighbors know everything, right? So the neighbor will say, well, they work during the day, they'll be home at 5 o'clock. That's when I will go back. I will go back after, once I know their schedule, to try and get a hold of them. Leave your card. Don't be a secret agent. You want them to know that you were there. And again, if you're following up and going consistently, they will get multiple cards from you and they will realize you are a very persistent, hardworking person. someone that they should at least interview for the next position. Know your script. That's really important, knowing what to say, because like I said, you have a couple of seconds to attract that person, or whether they're going to spend time to interview you or not, so you have to have the right words. Number 10, you want to dress to impress. When you knock on the door, be ready for a listing presentation. Have all your paperwork with you, have your presentation. It's happened to me where people have said, well, yes, I am going to be relisting and interviewing agents. And I said, let me right? I'm here. So I have everything ready, okay? And number 12, and this is also really important, you want to track and measure. You want to count every single day how many doors you're knocking on, how many people are answering, how many people are giving you an appointment, how many appointments it takes to get a listing, how many listings it takes to get to a sale. Business is math. So if you know your numbers, guys, it's really that simple that you can reverse engineer on how much money you want to make by just knowing your numbers of what you're able to convert and how much money you'll make from these sales. Just do it. I wish I had more time to go for expireds. Like I would own, I think John asked us, I own 10 real estate investments. I would own 20 if I had more. There's so much opportunity for everybody. It's just a matter of you getting up and doing it. And that's the hard part, but I'm here to inspire you and motivate you and let you know that that's where I started and anyone can do it if they put the work in. So really, it's simple. I just knock on the door. I have a printout from the multiple listing. I say, hi, good morning, Mr. Smith. My name is Maureen Folan. I'm with the Maureen Folan Real Estate Group. I got your information from the multiple listing service, and I'm just wondering if you're still interested in selling your house. That's it. Yes or no. Like, it's really that simple. 3 factors that may have prevented the house from selling. We all know in this market, it's overpricing and bad marketing. Those are the 2 main factors. And also no effort in making the house look good. So when you go in as that professional, when you get that interview as an expired, they don't want to hear how great you are. They don't care. Again, it's about them, and they're wondering why their house didn't sell. So when I go into an expired, I'm very straightforward, and this is how I am on all my listing presentations. I don't BS it. I don't give someone a song and a dance to hire me. This is what it is. I know my business, and I know what it's going to take. So that comes across because I have a lot of confidence, like I have a lot of experience. So I tell it to them straight. These are the things that you should do. This is the reality on the price. Whatever it is, you have to be straight this time around. People can read it, and if they think you're BS sales agent who just wants their listing, they're not going to choose you. Okay? You have to know your market and know your business. Have a proof of success. So I show people my reviews. I show people previous listings that have been listed with other agents, and when they hired me, I got their house sold within 30 days. This is important information because you can say it all you want, but it's in one ear and out the other. So it's important that you have proof to show people what you've done for other people and how you can help them as well. So, I mean, again, there's no magic script. You have to learn how to dance with the prospects. You're really going to get 3 or so objections. You want to establish rapport. Ask them why their house didn't sell. You're interviewing them just like they're interviewing you. And then you decide if this is someone I want to work with, are they realistic? This is someone that I will enjoy working with and I can help them. Set the appointment. Get their telephone number. If you knock on their door and they're not ready for an appointment, you have to get their telephone number. I know it sounds so easy, but there's been so many times where people on my team have gone out, met someone, and didn't get their number. And I'm like, why not? Like, that's the most important thing. So get their telephone number so you can follow up with them and hopefully set the appointment later. I see some people raising their hands. I'm going to answer questions afterwards. Mirror and match, right? So if someone is like really grumpy that they haven't sold their house and they're blaming the last agent, which is what they always do, you have to like match them and say, I completely understand. This is what I have to work with every day. Like make it that you can relate to them because they want to feel that their agent understands them and knows where they're coming from. And have empathy because they've been through a lot. It's not easy selling your house. It's a big emotional transaction. They've lost money compared to what it was in this time last year. So it's a bit disheartening for some people. So just try to understand where they're coming from. And be persistent. Don't settle for the brush off. Don't let them go. Personal beliefs that have served me working expireds. Listings put you at the top of the food chain. We all know that. Expireds are one of the most important and profitable lead sources. there's so much return on investment with expires. It's sweat equity rather than spending money for leads. So it's a great way to, if you don't get the listing, it didn't cost you anything, only time. And right now, we all have time. So, and I'd rather, like with expires, I can control my time, right? Like from 9 to 11 every day or 9 to 12, that's when it works for me. I'm a mom of 4 kids. I don't have all weekend and evening to go around knocking on people's doors. So I set my calendar that it's 9 to 12, 4 days a week, and that works for me. Really, there's nothing to be afraid of. They can be intimidating. They're grumpy. I just explained why they're grumpy. So if you try and understand where they're coming from and come from a place of service that you want to help these people, it's far easier and they can read that. And not everyone's grumpy. And honestly, I like the grumpy ones because they usually turn really soft. And usually the grumpy ones turn off everyone else, so most agents stop bothering the grumpy ones. So if you can get through that hard shell, you're the agent who they're going to work with. No one cares who you are. They just want to know what you can do for them. And they have to believe that you're able to do it for them. And also working expires, I'm not stealing anyone else's clients. It literally is let the best man win. Whoever is able to bring the most value and is there at the right place, right time, you're going to get the business. And you have to believe that you're the best agent for them. I literally go into every presentation and I'm like, they are making a mistake if they did not hire me. Like, I have an answer for everything. I know me and my team are going to do the best job for them. We're going to get them the best price in the quickest time period with the least amount of headaches. Anything that comes up, I'm able to handle it. So I believe that, and I say that to myself. You have to have a strong mindset. And really, I'm only competing against 5 to 10 agents. We just raised our hands, that there were 7 agents, I think, who raised their hands. There's not that many people going for them. And if you lead generate, you don't have to tolerate. When you have an abundance of listings and an abundance of people in your pipeline, and someone's driving you crazy, you can let them go. You're not stuck if that's your only listing. So this is why you need to always be generating and bringing new business in. So if there's a problem with a client, not all your eggs are in one basket, right? So just get started and take action. Your goals and dreams and fears of failure must be bigger than your desire for comfort. And again, it's hard work. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say expires are easy, but if you're willing to be gritty and put the time and the work and the energy in that it takes, you will see results. I'm living proof of that. Don't take anything personally. Like, we know in this business, just kind of brush it off. They're not mad at you. It's just their situation that they're frustrated with and they're projecting it onto you, so don't take it personally. You want to pre-qualify listing appointments. You want to make sure that if you're getting a listing appointment, that both decision makers are there. Do not be going over to the house if the wife is working and the husband's there by himself, because he won't be able to make a decision unless his wife is there. So always pre-qualify your appointments and make sure that the right parties are there, otherwise you're giving yourself double work and wasting your time. Have a dialed-in listing presentation with the proof of success from past expires that you've helped. That's really, really important. And again, show up suited, booted, chest out, and chin up. And expires are looking for certainty. They want confidence. They want to know that the job is going to get done and they're not going to hire another agent and be in the same position in 6 months' time. So action changes things. A cute little story. My son Jack said to me this morning, he saw me on my laptop when I was finishing up my presentation, and he said, Mommy, what are you doing? And I said, I'm getting ready for a presentation that I'm doing today, and I'm a little nervous. I'm speaking in front of 60, 70 people. And he goes, 60 or 70 agents, and he goes, Mommy, are they good agents? And I said, yes, Jack, they are good agents. The fact that you all came here today out of your busy schedule to learn and grow and try and do better is what makes you good agents. But it's those that actually take action to everything I said and go out and do it, that's what's going to make you a great agent. So the choice is yours. So just imagine the possibilities that you guys can have if you have an extra $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in your income every single year. Just imagine the look on your wife's face when you say, I'm taking you and the family to Disney World, first class. Just imagine the kid, you're being able to write out a check for your son's college, no problem. Just imagine being able to put that down payment down on an investment property for your future. There's a lot of possibilities out there. Just imagine paying off all your debt, right? Paying off your mortgage. I know John said not to do that, but I do like getting rid of debt. So there's a ton of things that you can do, and it's in a position to be financially free. You're literally in the best business in the world with tons of opportunity, and I want you all to take advantage of it and become super successful and change your family's financial history and future. So you can follow me on social media, on Instagram, and I think that's it.
I would pick up good stuff, right? For expires, they're awesome. Just I've been doing expires for now. I've been doing expires for my whole career, and which is over 20 years. In Jersey, you can start when you're 15, so don't do the math. But in general, it's been a pillar of my sales business, my team's business, doing over 100 deals a year. A lot of it was expired. I don't have the commercials. We have postcards and stuff that show our feedback, but when you start by driving to the houses. Then when you grow to have the money to buy Red X and Open 7 and all the softwares, that's when you can start saving time by
you want to call them first thing in the morning. Like if you need to start at 8 o'clock, you want to be the first. Because by the time they get 5-10 calls, they are annoyed. Everyone's calling them. All these agents are coming out of the woodwork. So you want to be one of the first to call. And if they, or if you're in a situation like that, you get that. I say, I know it's really frustrating. You're probably wondering where all these agents have been. But the truth is, what happens is your house comes off. And I just explain. I say, look, what happens? Your house came off the multiple listing. The multiple listing sells your information to a company, and now the company sells it to agents. Now agents are calling you. Like I'm very honest. This is what it is. So if I were you, I'd probably shut off the phone for the rest of the day. But at the same time, let me ask you something. You're still interested in selling your house. I'd get right into the script and see if I can convert that into an appointment. So from 9 to 11 every day, turn your phone off. Do not be a deal, like doctoring your deals. Do not do spend your time doing anything else. Your prospecting time is the most important 2 to 3 hours of your day.
Somebody shout out a rejection.
No
way. What do you think they're going to say?
I'm gonna list my house.
You're going to sell it as a for sale by owner. All right.
I'm gonna try it on my own.
I'm going to try it on my own. You ready?
Repeat what they just told you. I understand you want to sell your house on your own, but are you aware that sellers that do sell on their own get anywhere from 8 to 12% less than if they had sold with a real estate agent? And I'm sure you don't want to leave that kind of money on the table. So would you be open-minded to having a 15-minute conversation with me on how I can put more money into your pocket and get the house sold for you?
Is that good?
Because I would say, well, then the less money I'm gonna make is what I would pay in commission, is that correct?
My commission is less than 8 to 12%, but you can pay me 8% if you like. My goal here, and this is what I'm able to do, and this is my unique selling proposition, I sell my listings on average 100% list to sales price. That was my track record in 2022. Average agent in the marketplace is at 94%, and the average for sale by owner is at 85%.
They're all on NAR's annual report.
This is stats pulled from broker metrics.
Bring them
Yes, I have all my data. You know your numbers, guys. You're running a business, so you have to know your numbers.
Turn the fucking bass up! Alright! Alright!